This video might be slightly overdue. I did record it, I think, earlier this week. I was going to push it out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Stuff came up. Of course, Valentine's Day was here, and we had to talk about our first love, the wonderful, amazing Boom Beach. Put a video out on that. There's actually some more interesting stuff, which we'll probably put out a video sometime this weekend talking about the Boom Beach stuff. But it's all about the Clash today. That's right, folks. And a lot of huge things have happened. First off, this is what the account looks like. We're getting actually pretty close to Town Hall 10. By the time you guys see this video, chances are we will be pushing into Town Hall 10. And you guys will probably get a little double power feature probably tomorrow. This will come out on Friday. Next video will probably come out on Saturday. And we'll kind of show a little time lapse of sorts pushing from Town Hall 9 to Town Hall 10. We do have a few things left to level up. I think the Sniper Towers here, the Wizard Towers, the Mortars, and a couple production buildings. So it works out perfectly because the Mortars actually have 2 days to upgrade, and so does the Town Hall. So the Mortars are going to be our last things we upgrade because we have 5 builders. We'll do the 4 Mortars and the Town Hall, pushing us right up there to 10, and I'm excited. We also have some hero upgrades to do, so we'll get to that point at some point. Not too far off, though. Only a few more levels for the King, a little bit more for the Archer Queen. We do have some magic items that we'll probably use, some heroes books or whatever the case is. And we still haven't used that hammer from last video that we bought from CWL, so we'll eventually use that. The laboratory is looking fantastic, surprisingly. We bought a crap ton of research potions, either from the shops or from the event store. So we've kind of just been grinding out. It will probably change come Town Hall 9, or I'm sorry, Town Hall 10, because it's going to be very difficult for us to continue on that research potion grind, especially with so many of those upgrades, especially for the troops that we really enjoy, taking several days. So we'll see how it goes. I know eventually we kind of have to focus on one particular troop combination or two, just because otherwise we're going to be spending 6 months in one town hall. And we're not going to do that to you on this channel. We're not going to rush, but we're not going to be perfect for every town hall. So maybe once we get to 11 or 12, we'll be more perfect. But there's still so much stuff that I'd love to do that doesn't get unlocked quite yet. But showing off a little bit of the shop, we are pretty much close to the end of the event trail for the lunar year, the Dragon Festival? Yeah, the Dragon Festival. So we're going to be showing off those last finishing hits, of course, in this video today. And like I said, it's kind of like a progression video, showing off some stuff on what we got going on. So I also had to try something for science. That's why I actually popped this resource potion. Someone in my clan had said something about resource potions boosting the star bonuses. I'm gonna spoil it for you guys now. It doesn't actually work, so I'm not sure what they were talking about. I'm pretty sure it was either a new town hall or a return bonus of some sorts, but it is what it is. Excuse me. This video, actually, we're showing off, I think, a pretty similar army to last time. Maybe we didn't have witches in the last attacks. They're kind of just nice because we're facing a lot of Town Hall 10s, especially ones with single Inferno, so having that little bit of fodder that can take that damage, I think, is going to be pretty good for us. So, oh, and as you guys can see, we did indeed make it to Crystal League. I was going to post something about it on the channel, in the community tab, but it is what it is, I suppose. We kind of just been grinding. So Crystal League was pretty much inevitable. We eventually will hit Masters League, Champions, Titans, and maybe someday Legends. We might make that into some type of video series of some sort, pushing to that. Or maybe we'll do it on like one of our brand new accounts and see what we can make happen. So kind of a neat little thing, worth some gems, so it's pretty cool. And we will eventually push to other stuff too, but we'll see how that goes. Of course, always, we got to show off the builder hall. I don't know when I'm going to make a video about it. I think we're getting closer and closer to it, but we'll see how that goes. I think maybe once we get to Town Hall 10, we'll make more videos about this, and of course a new account. So, but just showing off that we are going to Builder Hall 7, I believe. I know a lot of people like to do the rushing tactic to 9 because that gives the 6 builder. We're slowly doing it in a sense, but it is what it is. I'm not super pressed about it or whatever the case is. We kind of make it happen. But getting into attacks today, here we are. Ironically enough, this didn't take long to find this Town Hall 9, so pretty neat if you ask me. Decent loot from this individual, and I'm pretty good at clearing, I'd say 95 to 99% of the Town Hall 9s with perfects. We don't really farm on this channel, guys. I know some people do it. I know a lot of the top Clash of Clanners like to farm and fix their rush bases and all that kinds of other crazy stuff. And we're not really trophy pushing, but something about my personality tells me I have to try my hardest and 3-star any base that I go against. Does it always happen? No. But I feel much better about doing it rather than just grind whatever the event is or some resources to build some stuff up. It's just kind of the thing that I'm used to. Maybe it comes from the fact that I'm a boom beacher, and there it was either an all or nothing, while Clash of Clans you could easily get a 1-star and pretty much call it, or no stars and still be perfectly fine and get all the resources that you need. So this is just not how I roll. So this video we're doing a couple different things though. Of course we're showing progression, but I also have seen a lot of flack talking about the Ice Arrow. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I actually don't mind the Ice Arrow. I've been using it quite a bit. I know some folks aren't huge fans of it, and I think that stems slightly from the unfortunateness of being a max Town Hall or a higher up Town Hall. But I'd say as someone who's a Town Hall 9, and I think I'll probably use it into Town Hall 10 and maybe further, who knows, it's not too bad. It does its job, it does really well. Great DPS increase for the Queen. I think we have it maxed for this Town Hall because I was so excited to get an epic piece of equipment. Is it the Giant Gauntlet? No, definitely not. I don't think anything's going to beat that epic equipment until, you know, maybe we see something from the Royal Champion or the Grand Warden. But, I mean, that was just a freak accident if you ask me. Plus, there's bugs with it, small things like that. But I'd say overall, it's a good item. Could it use a buff? Sure, why not? Why not give it some type of little health increase? I know pretty much all of the other AQ's abilities has some type of, whether it's buff increase or health regeneration or whatever the case is, buff increase, health increase. So if it's an epic piece of equipment, what stops it from doing so? That being said, I think there is something to be said about certain synergies. I think the invisibility vial and the frozen arrows, what so many people are looking at, but to be honest with you, I don't know if it's going to be this perfect synergy. Much like you're not going to use Quake Boots with Giant Gauntlet on the Barbarian King, or really Barb Puppets with the Giant Gauntlet. It's either going to be Rage Gem or what's the other one called? The Vamp Stash. Those are going to kind of the primary ones because not everything is made to be synergized. I know the invisibility vial is just so crucial because it's something that I feel like the player base has been using for so long. But honestly, I think there's a case to be said about maybe using Archer Puppet, or I actually don't have it yet, but I am curious to see. I've seen some small videos out there talking about the Healer Puppets and maybe using like a pre-Queen ability to get extra healers or to regenerate some healers that you may have lost to Seeking Air Mines. I think might actually be the play. Plus, it gives you a very slight, now mind you, it is slight, health regeneration, but maybe that's exactly what the Queen needs for a little bit more survivability. She already has the full-on passive effect of the Frozen Arrow throughout the battle, but it would show off kind of just a little bit more of how the strength of it goes. Like I said, I will do more testing on that as we get higher up and eventually get it. I think we don't get the Healer Puppet till 11 though. Maybe it's 12. I don't know. It's a minute away, so it'll be a while. But we will talk about it more for sure on this channel. Like I said, I always like to try to go against the grain, see what works. I know some folks have already done a lot of power testing and stuff like that, but often the videos that I see are people with max level town halls, whether it's 15 or 16 or whatever the case is, super higher up. I haven't seen too many videos talking about it at lower levels, so that's kind of what we're here for. Not to mention, we're casual players on this channel, folks, so that is how it goes, of course. But all that being said, video's kind of showing it off. I have a cool little clip at the end too to talk more about it, but I mean, we can talk ad nauseum about it. Really no point to, I suppose. But yeah, as we kind of go through, like I said, we're clearing to get the rest of the event finished, as well as some resources, just to kind of get some more upgrades in the builders and all that stuff. So it has been a grind, but a good one. I'm enjoying it. I've been having fun, and I'm trying to learn more and more about the Queen Walk and Queen Charge. I'm telling you, the pros on a lot of people make it look super easy. Maybe it's just because I don't understand base design quite yet, but I often find that I'm losing one or two healers pretty much per battle, which kind of makes the queen not lose traction, but lose traction in a sense. So, but I still find I do pretty well with her. I think the other complication for me is that we don't have like a super great way to break through walls. Of course, there's wall breakers, but to me, it feels like they don't always hit the target. So oftentimes my queen will do a queen walk rather than a queen charge. So we're figuring it out as we get to Town Hall 10 and look into it more. I'm sure we'll have more fun with it and figure it all out. But that's that. I also wanted to talk about, like I said, we got to talk about updates, and we're going to talk about stuff on the channel. So on the channel, in the community tab, I already talked about it on the Boom Beach, but I'm talking about it here. I'm going to pop it up here on the screen, probably post-editing, talking about the 2 polls that we have out. We currently have 2 polls on the channel. One is talking about, of course, the wonderful Clash of Clans, talking about whether or not to start a offensive-based account or a free-to-play account. So make sure you go to the community tab and vote on that to what you guys are interested in. We'll talk about the rules a little bit more depending on what wins it. So I'm totally down for either one. I feel like the free-to-play stuff probably has been played out a little bit, and I know the rushed is played out a lot. So I think an offensive one would be fun in my opinion, but at the end of the day, you guys are the ones who vote for it because it's what you guys are interested in. Secondly, we have a variety poll out. Like I said, if you're a clasher and that's not your fancy tea or cup of tea or whatever the case is, that's totally fine. But if you go on the community tab again, there is a secondary poll talking about a co-op game. As me and the missus finished It Takes Two a couple weeks ago, almost a month at this point, I think. So it's time for us to jump into another one. There is a poll talking about a couple different co-op games. You guys can feel free to Google or check them out if you are unsure how to do it. But feel free to vote there, whether you enjoy the variety or you're just here to press buttons. That's totally cool too. Just for some engagement on the channel would be amazing. There's some great games, some fun stuff, some stuff I'm not super familiar with, but the missus was kind of one who did some research behind it. So I think no matter what gets picked, I think it's going to be a great time. So once again, this will probably be up on the picture here, post-editing, showing kind of what those polls look like and stuff like that. So if you feel the need to vote or not, please feel free to, because it's amazing. Kind of just going through these bases. Like I said, we're just showing hits at this point, and I think the big portion of these hits is mostly showing off that the Frozen Arrow pretty much gets similar results, sometimes better results. I feel like in some instances I have to watch the queen a little bit more. I find I definitely have to press her ability more manually than all people are used to with the auto ability stuff. But at the same time, I feel like I don't have to baby her in certain situations, such as when we're about to come into this Barb King, or face an Archer Queen, or sometimes CC troops. You know, maybe we drop one poison just for precaution, but she pretty much stops troops in their path. So I think that does really well on her part. The damage is really good. She can take out a lot of defenses relatively easy. You pop her ability and she basically one-shot stuff, so I think that's pretty neat. And like I said, I think as people get more comfortable with the equipment and realize that it is a different playstyle, and I say that because, like I said, people I think are so used to auto abilities going off for a lot of the heroes, where this one kind of requires a little bit of a manual cast. I know sometimes the giant gauntlet feels that way, so it's more of a strategic tactic, but I think in a good way. Once you find a way to kind of play around it, I think people will be more interested in it. Not to say that I think anybody super hates it, but once again, I believe people got spoiled a little bit too much with the giant gauntlet. Although, don't get me wrong, I do agree that epic stuff should be epic. If there's so many resources being spent in these equipment, why not make them relatively strong? Should they be game breaking? No, definitely not. But should they be strong and like, dang, that is a pretty darn good piece of equipment? Yeah, why not? I don't see a problem with that. But yeah, just kind of 3-star and 9s at this point. We found a lot of 9s tonight, surprisingly, which was pretty cool. You guys, I can't show you enough how much there are 10s that we go up against, but there it is, folks, finishing it off. We did get those last little bit of starry ores, and I'm a sucker for cosmetic items, so We got, of course, the beautiful dragon pinata that we'll place down at some point. And we got the other stuff from the event, as well as some of the other, I guess, temporary stuff with the lucky letter boxes. We did have a shovel or two that we used on that. So, and there is a skin in the shop. Now, I'm not going to say next time you see a video the queen might be dressed differently, but she may be dressed differently just because we enjoy a little bit of cosmetic stuff. Not a total skin collector, but it's not to say that I don't enjoy trying out some stuff, looking at some stuff, all that good stuff. So we're now on the bonus track, so we'll eventually collect the last bit of that. We'll probably invest into the builder potions now, just to kind of help speed up the upgrades, because like I said, by the time this comes out, probably the following day, you guys will see the big reveal with the 10. But I actually had this last clip. This is later in the week, but I thought this was a really good showing that just because it's not what we're used to doesn't mean that this isn't a great piece of equipment. This is a Town Hall 10. I think it's slightly underleveled, mind you. It's probably like 50 or 60%, maybe 70% of the way through the Town Hall 10 journey. So it's not a max Town Hall 10 as some people call it, but it's still a pretty hard, difficult thing for someone who's a Town Hall 9 to have to try to beat. Mind you, there are 2 Inferno Towers. There are, of course, the Expos, some of the cannons, all that good stuff. So the heroes weren't crazily overleveled either, so I guess that kind of pays up in some extent. But overall, it was still required some type of strategy in my mind. So right here, we had to use that one freeze to stop that Inferno from basically burning through the queen. But after that, we didn't have to continuously freeze again. We got the Inferno down. So, and that just goes to show that her ability to stop that Inferno from ramping up and just tearing through any amount of healers kind of shows how strong she is. Later in the hit, you're going to see her kind of do something similar. But like I said, I had to change my playstyle to kind of show that she can make it happen. And I will say, throughout this hit, she does a lot of work here. We did drop some of our troops up on the north side of the base, but I kind of really want to focus on the queen charging aspect of this. The troops, a lot of them ended up running off to the side just because we didn't use wall breakers, I don't think. Or maybe we used them for the queen. I honestly don't remember what happened to those suckers. And I think we lose quite a few of our firecrackers to a mega bomb or something like that. So by the end of this hit, they're kind of all gone, as well as our witches. So we did use CCs, so of course that helps a little bit having some bowlers in there, but I don't feel like the bowlers were such a huge thing that determined the outcome of this battle. Like I said, I think the queen made a perfect example of this, and I kind of missed it as I was talking about it, but we had to manually pop her ability there to save her from that Inferno Tower, but it did perfectly that. She disappeared from the Inferno Tower, two-shotted it, got it down, and was still walking by the end of this. Now, mind you, we did lose our healers, but I'd say the queen herself probably took like 50, maybe 60% of the base down by herself just from that beautiful walk. That frozen arrow just gives her survivability in some sense, I suppose, but kind of just clean up at this point. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like I said, stay tuned for next week's, or not next week's, tomorrow's video. As always, I am the resident dweller of the underworld, the casual player's player, the David to Max Players Callias. See y'all next time. Peace!